Intelligence.com studio. Good morning, Senator Tom Cotton. How are you?
Good morning, Hugh. It's great to be on with you. Hope you and all of your listeners have got off to a good start to the very short Christmas season this year. I'm sure all your shopping is already done.
It's all done. It's all cyber shopping. Tom Cotton, I've known you a very long time, since I think you were a ranger on deployment in Iraq. Did you ever in your imagination see yourself as a juror in an impeachment trial of a president?
No, regrettably, Hugh, it looks like I may be that. The Democrats in the House have continued with their obsession about impeachment, and I gather they're probably going to pass articles of impeachment sometime this month unless they come to their senses, in which case they'll come to the Senate for a trial. I don't think anyone expects that there will be 67 votes to remove the president from office. In fact, I think there'll probably be more Democratic votes against impeachment in both the House and the Senate than there are Republican votes in favor of it. The really regrettable thing, too, is that the people's business is not being done. In the meantime, Hugh, we haven't passed a budget to fund our government, especially our military. We haven't passed the annual defense bill that's been passed 58 consecutive years. We haven't passed the Mexico-Canada agreement, which has been waiting for a year now for all of our farmers and foresters and ranchers and manufacturers. So there's a lot of work that is not getting done while Nancy Pelosi's House is obsessed with impeaching the president, as they have been since January 20th, 2017.
Now, Senator, have two-part question. Have you discussed the trial and its logistics and procedures in the conference? And whether or not you've discussed it, what do you think is your job as an individual juror?
Hugh, we've had some preliminary discussions about the basic rules of impeachment proceedings in the Senate. You know, we have Senate impeachment rules, even though impeachments of presidents are pretty uncommon. There have been many more impeachments of lower court judges in particular, so there are a set of standing rules that kind of give some right and left boundaries, but those rules are very, very minimal, Hugh. Impeachment trials really depend on what majority of the Senate can vote on. In 1998, there was a unanimous resolution to structure the Clinton impeachment trial. I'm not sure that that's going to be the case in today's Senate, but if they send articles of impeachment over here, I think we'll take a careful look at them. From what I've read in the news, some of them might deserve immediate dismissal. You know, if, for instance, they say that the president or his aides litigating their constitutional prerogatives in court is de facto evidence of obstruction of justice, but also believe the president wants to actually put on a genuine defense of his actions. That's what I've heard from him, in his public statements and from my conversations with people in the White House, that he views the Senate as a place where he can actually get a fair proceeding to present the evidence and arguments in his defense, unlike the Star Chamber in the House.
Some of your colleagues, including Senator Klobuchar and Senator Warren, have already declared their belief in the president's guilt. Ought they to recuse themselves from this proceeding?
Well, Hugh, as you know, if you go read Alexander Hamilton's Federalist Papers on impeachment, it's not exactly like a criminal case. They're not looking for impartial jurors, and our founding fathers knew that when they made the Senate trial for impeachment, that it already might have people who are partisans in one way or another for the accused individual. So it's not surprising.
Yeah, Federalist 65 is the one no one ever reads. It's going to be a brawl. Yeah. Do you anticipate the right? I've seen you ask difficult questions of important people before. Do you anticipate asking a question from the chair of any witnesses that might be called?
Hugh, you have to remember that the impeachment trial is also most senators' view of purgatory or even hell. They have to sit silently in their chair on the Senate floor, and they never get to make a speech at all. So any questions have to be submitted in writing during an impeachment trial.
Do you think that, among others, the whistleblower and Hunter Biden ought to be called, and Adam Schiff? 3 questions: whistleblower, Hunter Biden, Adam Schiff. Should they be fact witnesses?
I think there's a strong case they should be fact witnesses in the Senate, Hugh. Now, ultimately, I think that decision will be up to the president's lawyers in the impeachment trial. But whatever you think about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, you cannot dispute, unless you're the most kind of in-the-bag partisan for not just the Biden family and the Democrats, but the kind of Beltway establishment, that there was a gross conflict of interest in Hunter Biden being on the board of a Ukrainian oligarch's company, while Joe Biden was the point man for U.S. policy. Perhaps there's nothing there, but it certainly is worth reviewing, and it certainly goes to the president's thinking whenever he's made statements that he wanted Burisma investigated.
Quick question. Has the Politico article by Ken Vogel from January 11th, 2017 been retracted in any way, shape, or form to your knowledge about Ukrainian meddling in our election?
No, to my knowledge, Politico has not retracted that article or issued any corrections of it, nor has Mr. Vogel, who's gone on to work for the New York Times, which must have competence in his reporting background.
It's going to be fascinating. How long do you think it will last, Senator Cotton? 30 seconds.
We don't really know, Hugh. It'll be up to whatever 51 senators vote on in terms of a process, and also to what the president's lawyers want to call as witnesses.
Senator Tom Cotton, it is great to have you here for a front row chair in the juror box over the weeks and months ahead. I don't think it's going to be short, but who knows? I'm a talk show host. He's a juror and a senator. Stay tuned, America. Coming back with hour number 2 of the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Portions of the Hugh Hewitt Show are brought to you in part by No Safe Spaces.